Caitlin Clark was assaulted yesterday in her very first playoff game in the WNBA. We've seen the animus directed at Caitlin Clark all year. Ever be the biggest star in American sports was assaulted 2 minutes into the game on a dirty play with one of these women with these long fake fingernails that stabbed her in the eye. But damn it, in the first 2 minutes of this game, this Dejanay Carrington stabbed Caitlin Clark with her fingernails right in the eye.
Okay, let's talk about what's blowing up the WNBA right now. Dejanay Carrington's social media is on fire, and not in a good way. She's being called out for anti-white comments and apparently cheering when Caitlin Clark got poked in the eye. Seriously? We're gonna break down what happened, why people are so mad, and what this means for the league. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Picture this. It's a huge playoff game between the Indiana Fever and Connecticut Sun. The crowd's going wild, and all eyes are on Caitlin Clark. Then, out of nowhere, bam! Clark gets poked in the eye. The arena goes silent. Players are shocked. Fans are freaking out. It's like time stopped for a second. But here's where it gets crazy. This wasn't just some random game injury. Nope, it turned into a whole mess of drama. People started talking, rumors started flying, and before you know it, we've got a full-blown controversy on our hands.
With no whistle. Now, there's nothing Indiana.
But what happened next? That's where things get really wild. You're not gonna believe what went down after that eye poke. Remember when I said you wouldn't believe what went down after that eye poke? Well, Dejanay Carrington just set social media on fire. What she posted next left fans and players alike completely stunned. How could a few tweets cause such an uproar?
Lately, circling back on the play with your eye, what would you say to the crowd of people that think a hit like that was intentional, maybe even warrants a suspension?
It wasn't intentional by any means. You just watched the play. It wasn't intentional.
Looks like the eye's better. Do you feel anything? Any pain issues?
It feels good. I don't know. It looks okay too, so I'm glad.
It all started when Carrington decided to share her thoughts on the Clark incident. But instead of showing concern or keeping it professional, she seemed to be celebrating. Yeah, you heard that right. Celebrating another player's injury. That's like rule number 1 of what not to do in sports, right? But it didn't stop there. Carrington's post quickly spiraled into something much bigger. She retweeted a message that took a shot at non-black individuals. And suddenly this wasn't just about basketball anymore. People were accusing her of being anti-white and racially insensitive. Talk about adding fuel to the fire. And get this, it turns out Carrington had some beef with Indiana Fever fans even before all this went down.
Dejanay Carrington stabbing Caitlin Clark in the eye, intentionally, in my view, with her fingernail. Surely the corporate media that cares so much about racial equity and racial justice is going to be all over this.
She'd called them the nastiest in the NBA. Now, considering Clark plays for the Fever, you can imagine how that comment didn't exactly help her case. It's like she was already on thin ice and then decided to go ice skating. The backlash was immediate and intense. Fans were furious, media outlets were all over it, and suddenly Carrington found herself in the center of a social media storm. It's crazy how fast things can blow up online, right? 1 minute you're tweeting, the next you're trending for all the wrong reasons. But here's where it gets really wild. Carrington didn't back down. Instead of apologizing or trying to smooth things over, she doubled down. She claimed people were misinterpreting her intent and that the backlash was unwarranted. It's like she was playing defense against the entire internet. Now you might be thinking, okay, maybe she just got caught up in the heat of the moment. But then Carrington dropped a tweet that really sent shockwaves through the WNBA community. Are you ready for this? She wrote, "How to get away with murder. Be a white man in America." Yeah, let that sink in for a second. That tweet took this whole controversy to a whole new level. It wasn't just about basketball rivalry anymore. This was touching on some serious societal issues, and people had a lot to say about it.
The fact that the Michael Jordan of the WNBA was assaulted has a black eye during the second half of the game because Dejanay Carrington stabbed her with her fingernails in the eye. Dejanay, has a history with Caitlin Clark. Like many of these girls in the WNBA, but she's at the top of the list along with Kennedy Carter in Chicago and Angel Reese. That's not a natural act of you contest a shot and then all of a sudden your hand turns downwards and straight into the eye of the biggest star in the WNBA.
The reactions were all over the place. Some fans defended Carrington's right to speak her mind, saying athletes shouldn't have to stay silent on important issues. Others were outraged, calling for consequences and accusing her of spreading hate. It was like the WNBA community was split right down the middle. And you know what's really interesting about all this? It's bringing up some big questions about the role of athletes in social issues. Carrington herself said silence is a luxury. She clearly feels that as a professional athlete, she has a responsibility to speak up about things that matter to her. But at what cost? This whole situation is shining a spotlight on some deep-rooted tensions in the league and in society as a whole. It's not just about one player's social media posts anymore. It's about race, privilege, and the power of words in the age of social media. And trust me, this story is far from over. So, we've got a league that's majority black players, but all eyes are on the new white superstar. Sound familiar? This Carrington situation is forcing the WNBA to take a hard look in the mirror. And the reflection? It's showing some uncomfortable truths about who gets the spotlight and why. Let's break it down. The WNBA isn't just dealing with a social media storm. This whole mess is bringing up some big questions about race in the league. It's like someone turned on the lights and now everyone's squinting, trying to figure out what they're really seeing. Here's the thing, about 60% of WNBA players are black. That's more than half the league. But who's getting all the attention right now? Caitlin Clark, the new white superstar. Don't get me wrong, Clark's talent is off the charts. But some people are asking if her popularity is overshadowing other players, especially black athletes who've been in the game longer.
And so I just assume that all the social justice, racial justice warrior people would be up in arms and be like, hey, we gotta call balls and strikes here. Caitlin Clark has made this league relevant, and this deranged bigot, and I say that in all sincerity.
This isn't just about fans picking side. It's about who gets the big sponsorship deals, whose face is on the posters, whose name is on everyone's lips. And Carrington's tweets? They're like a match to gasoline, making everyone take a closer look at these issues. Now, some fans are cheering Carrington on, saying it's about time someone spoke up. Others are calling for her head, saying she's spreading hate. It's like the WNBA community split right down the middle, and the crack is running along racial lines. You've got Jason Whitlock out there calling for Carrington to be suspended. He's not alone. Some people think her comments crossed a line and there should be consequences. But others, they're saying, hold up, aren't athletes supposed to use their platform to speak up about important issues? This whole situation is putting the WNBA in a tough spot. They're trying to walk a tightrope between supporting their players' right to speak out and keeping the peace in the league. It's like they're playing a high-stakes game of Jenga, and one wrong move could bring the whole tower crashing down. And let's not forget, the WNBA has been proud of its commitment to social justice and equality, but now they're facing some hard questions. How do they handle this without making things worse? How do they make sure all their players feel valued and heard, regardless of race? Here's what's really wild. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's holding up a mirror to bigger issues in society. Who gets to be the face of a sport? Who gets to speak out without facing backlash? These are questions that go way beyond the court. You know what's crazy? Some people are saying this controversy could actually be good for the WNBA. Yeah, you heard that right. They're arguing that at least now people are talking about these issues out in the open. No more sweeping things under the rug.
Did you intend to hit her in the eye? And if so, could you just, or if not, either way, could you talk about what happened on that play?
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the type of player that I am. So yeah.
Did you and Marina kind of laugh about it afterwards? It looked like there was later on in the game they caught you guys laughing about it.
No, I just told you I didn't even know I hit her, so I didn't know I hit her actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball and I guess I followed through and I hit her, so obviously it's never intentional.
But here's the million-dollar question. How does the league move forward from here? Do they crack down on social media posts? Do they need to look at how they market their players? Or is this a chance for the WNBA to lead the way in having honest conversations about race in sports? While everyone's losing their minds over this drama, Caitlin Clark's doing something that might surprise you. You'd think she'd be right in the middle of it all, firing back on social media or giving heated interviews. But nope, Clark's taking a completely different approach, and it's got people talking. Here's the deal, Clark's not getting dragged into this mess. She straight up said, "People should not be using my name to push those agendas." Can you believe it? A rookie standing her ground like that? It's like she's got ice in her veins, both on and off the court. But wait, it gets better. When reporters tried to get her to comment on the controversy, Clark shut it down fast. She said, "I don't see it. I don't see it. That's not where my focus is. My focus is here and on basketball." Talk about keeping your eye on the ball. Now, you might think everyone would be cheering her on for staying above the drama. But guess what? People are split on this too. Some fans are loving her professional attitude, saying she's handling it like a veteran. Others? They're saying she should speak up more, use her platform to address these big issues. But here's where Clark's really showing everyone up. While all this drama's going down, she's out there breaking records left and right. You won't believe this. She's leading the WNBA in assists, averaging 8.4 per game. And get this, she just smashed the single season record with 317 assists. That's insane for a rookie, and Clark's not stopping there. In a recent game against the Connecticut Sun, she dropped 19 points, dished out 5 assists, and grabbed 5 rebounds. It's like she's saying, "You want to talk about me? Fine, I'll give you something to talk about." But here's what's really wild about all this. While everyone else is caught up in the Twitter storm, Clark's out there changing the game. She just set a new WNBA record for threes made by a rookie. 88 3-pointers. That's not just good, that's changing the way the game is played good. You know what's crazy? Some people are saying Clark's silence on the controversy is a problem, but look at what she's doing instead of talking. She's helping the Indiana Fever climb up the league standings. Actions speak louder than words, right? It's like Clark's found a secret weapon in all this chaos. While everyone else is busy arguing on social media, she's in the gym, working on her game. And it's paying off big time. She's not just playing well, she's dominating in a way that's forcing everyone to pay attention to what's happening on the court, not on Twitter. Think about it. In the middle of one of the biggest controversies the WNBA's seen in years, Clark's managed to keep all the attention on her game. That's not just talent, that's next level focus and maturity. It's like she's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. So where does the WNBA go from here? This whole mess with Carrington and Clark has everyone talking, and not in a good way. Some fans are even talking about boycotting the league. Can you believe it? The WNBA's in a tough spot. They've got to do something, but what? Jason Whitlock's out there saying the NBA needs to step in if the WNBA won't. Talk about pressure. This isn't just about one player or one incident anymore. It's about how the league handles race, social media, and player behavior. They've got to figure out how to keep things fair and respectful for everyone. Here's the big question. How can the WNBA keep its integrity and still let players speak their minds? It's not just about basketball anymore. This could change the whole game.